Well, actually, he had been coming home from work for the last 3 years not happy. I hadn't heard him really laugh. I hadn't seen him genuinely happy since all of this happened with Cerberus. And for years I told him it didn't really matter how much money you make. If you're not happy doing what you're doing, please don't do it anymore. Find something different, because you come home and then we're both unhappy.
I was just to the point where I didn't enjoy going to work. I didn't like the job. I didn't like what we were being asked to do. Well, there was just a real lack of integrity. And when you're being asked to present things that you know aren't true to the executive committee or senior management, I just had to draw a line and say, I'm not going to be a part of that. I just felt like it was time. If I have to work, I don't want to go to work and not enjoy my job. And that was probably one of the biggest things.
Finally, I was at my breaking point, and I was talking to my wife, gosh, I just don't know if this is the right thing for me anymore. I had a consistent paycheck, and our living was fine, but I was miserable. All the hours we work, and by the time I'd come home and just exhausted and not want to talk to the family, I was kind of done, I thought. And so it was a tough decision, because I believe in being loyal and consistent, and I enjoy that aspect.
Well, for me, it was the flexibility of running a business and being able to be creative, to be able to put in time, because I was already working really hard for somebody else, and he always said, you're already working this hard for somebody else, why not invest in yourself and see where things end up? Worst case scenario is you can always come back. He said, so really it was just the beginning where we'd be going if we actually committed to Grocery Outlet. So that was one of the things that interested me the most.
Put my resume out there, and Grocery Outlet contacted me, and at first I was like, I've never heard of Grocery Outlet. And sure enough, it was. Grocery Outlet was for real. There was a grocery store called that. Grocery Outlet flew us out to California. We saw a lot of good-looking stores and met a lot of independent operators that I didn't know anything about this, and it was just interesting to hear their stories. They're great people, great store standards, and that's what I was all about. So it's been exciting ever since.
The company I was working for had some financial issues. And so, of course, it was like, what's going to happen if thing? And some of my peers ended up becoming operators with Grocery Outlet. One day it really kind of came to be where we said, what the heck, we're putting this type of work in. Why don't we do it for ourselves? Made a phone call to one of my friends who was a Grocery Outlet operator and said, you'd be perfect. Got a call the next morning from the recruiter, and the rest is history. It was quite exciting.
I had actually talked to him about reaching out to some of the people that we knew that had done it, and they seemed very happy doing it. And we had some friends over for dinner and talked to them about it. And I was excited at the idea of doing it, terrified at the idea of now going back to work after being a stay-at-home mom for so long. So, but it was worth it. It was very worth it talking with them. And I did ask the question of one of our friends, so you've told us all the positive about it, all those wonderful things, it's so amazing, yay. What is the downside? Is there any one thing that you are sorry for? And across the board, what we've been told is, I'm sorry I didn't do it earlier. So that's it. We decided then to go forward with it.
Well, I think for us, it was, you're gonna run a supermarket like you used to. It's hard work, but boy, it's fun because you do what you think is the right thing to do in your store.
The biggest difference is that everything that you do is for you. It's for the betterment of your store, which is for the betterment of you. So, if you're working, 50, 60 hours a week at, another corporate grocery store of some sort, you're there to implement things. You're an implementer a lot of the times, right? You're taking things that are coming down from on high and making them work in your store. Sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. And you're kind of there hoping that, oh, you do enough that you get that bonus, or that somebody recognizes you and you get that raise or that promotion or whatever. But there's a filter in between there. Somebody else has to do that for you. With Grocery Outlet and being an operator, if you work 60 hours in a week, it's because you want to, and it's because it's going to make your store better, and you are going to see those benefits immediately.
So the thing that got us to make the leap from big box retail to Grocery Outlet was the fact that we could be a part of something bigger, especially into the community, and really own a business. It was something that we've always wanted to do, be in control of our own destiny type thing. We're able to do anything we want to in the store. We're able to, financially support ourselves and grow our business the way we want to grow it.
I don't have to worry or live in fear anymore of, well, hey, can I go to see my son's soccer game if I wanted to? Because I need a couple hours off on a Saturday. Well, that's Saturday, it's the busiest day of the week. You can't get it. It's just, I don't have to deal with that anymore.
Would I ever think about going back? No. If I couldn't do this, and we've talked about this, what would we do if we weren't working, if we didn't own a Grocery Outlet? And I can't come up with a good alternative. I mean, I'm sure there's something out there, but you got me as to what it is.
Well, I think when we sat down and we were analyzing what we wanted to do, it is scary. It's very scary because you do have that structure. You have a job to go to, you have an income, and go to work for yourself. It's kind of like, you get out of it what you put into it. But one day, Kim says, we've never really failed at anything we've really put our minds to. And so we jumped. We took the leap, and we were right. And it's been very gratifying, very, very gratifying. I mean, we're still being thanked today for bringing low prices in, and people saying, I couldn't have fed my family without you guys coming to town.
From a professional working standpoint, to be able to earn an income, absolutely.
Yes.
If we'd have done it 30 years ago, I'd be retired, right? I'd be really enjoying some great vacation time. But it is the most rewarding thing, from a professional working standpoint I've ever done. And I've done some cool things in my career working for other companies, getting rewarded with whatever thing for being good at something. And it's none of those things touch just the day-to-day stuff that is rewarding at Grocery Outlet.
When we first got into it, we looked at, we've got about 10 years plus before retirement. This is going to be our last thing. We're not going to do this for a while and then go to work for somebody else. This is it. This is going to take us to retirement, and it's done everything we ever thought it could.
I think the expectation is you want to be successful, and everybody has a different philosophy on what success means. For me, I feel I've been very successful. I'm very happy. With the money that I make, with the time I get aside to put forth to my family, I'm very happy. I'm very comfortable. Life is good.